So here's an awesome job that we designed and built a while ago for a super cool client of ours. As you can see, built a bunch of retaining walls. There's an L-shaped bench, seating bench right there, surrounding the area where the fire pit is. That fire pit came out really nice. Those are Techo Bloc Borealis logs, and then those are Techo Bloc Borealis slabs. The wood grain texture on those seat bench pieces are impeccable. Never seen another paver product like it. Same as those wood log looking units, which are actually made out of concrete. It's a Techo Bloc Borealis wall block material, nice wood grain texture that's in it. The wall block material on these retaining walls, that's a Belgard Weston block. Little overhead view of this job. Bird's eye view is always nice to see when lines are set nice and square with the house foundation footprint. There we are, zooming in with the drone, little drop in. We used a Belgard Catalina on the pavers. So the pavers, it's a Belgard product, Catalina style paver with a graphite 6x9 border piece surrounding the turf and the pavers. Gives it that defined dark colored border around the pavers. There is a propane tank housing unit that we built off the side of that fire pit. Kind of doubles down as an armrest or backrest, or you can sit on it. Hides the propane bottle that is servicing that fire pit. As you can see, it's running right there in that portion of the video. Double-decker retaining wall, multi-level. In this backyard, he had a large dirt berm that we started with, as you can see. And from one side of the yard to the other, the berm rose higher in elevation. There we are, jackhammering out the hard rock with a air hammer. A lot of dig out on this job to carve out the shape of the retaining walls that you've seen in the beginning portion of this video. All that dirt had to get cut back. We had to haul out an incredible amount of dirt. There you can see the footprint of the wall being set up, how far we had to dig back from one side of the yard to the other. There's some geotextile grid that we sandwich between the retaining wall blocks for retaining wall reinforcement. It gets buried in the backfill behind that retaining wall. It helps reinforce the retaining wall, guaranteeing that it'll never fall forward. So we install that geotextile grid at the lower third and the upper third of that retaining wall. And then as you can see, it stretches back into the backfill. And then when we backfill that wall with gravel material, it anchors the wall in place. As you can see, there's some backfill that was filled up. We used some fabric to separate the soil from the gravel, keep the gravel nice and clean. That doubles down as a drain on the backside of that wall so that there's no water that will permeate through the wall and deface and degrade the block over time. That's the upper third layer of that geotextile grid. As we lifted the gravel up one layer at a time, you could see that upper third geotextile grid get installed. And that acts as a anchor for that retaining wall. A lot of guys in town do not even know what geotextile grid is. That's usually a thing that's found in the Midwest or East Coast side of the United States. A lot of contractors in Las Vegas, unless they are experienced contractors, whether they're licensed or not, rarely ever use a geotextile grid. And I have seen wall failures in Las Vegas due to retaining walls not being built properly. So we, of course, at Green Guru Landscaping, we like to build per engineering spec, in most cases above industry standard, above engineering spec. We like to build our construction heavy duty, whether it be patio cover, retaining walls. As you can see, really nice layout and geometric shapes going on, starting to come together on this project as that retaining wall goes up one layer at a time. This was a really large retaining wall, really long. This yard was really wide from one side of the PL wall, property line wall, to the other PL wall. Yeah, a lot of duration going on, showing that there's a footprint getting laid out for the propane tank enclosure. We had to run an underground gas line, polyethylene gas line, same material that the Southwest Gas Company uses underneath the roads in our streets, so that it never rots out underground. Another area where I see a lot of contractors fail in Las Vegas, they'll bury a steel gas line in the ground and it'll rot out and form holes in the gas line. So we like to use polyethylene material, which is the proper grade material, high grade plastic material, to go underground to service gas, so it'll never rot out. Beginning stages of that L-shaped bench. There's the bench that we built into the retaining wall. As you can see, we're backfilling with gravel. Gravel just acts as a filler or reinforcement for our cap blocks. Those are our seat bench Techo Bloc Borealis cap blocks that we ordered in. At the time that we did this job, we were the first contractor to use this Techo Bloc material in Las Vegas, because at that time when we built this job, Techo Bloc was not on the West Coast. I don't even think it was in California at the time we did this, or maybe it was. Maybe California went first before Las Vegas. But anyway, we were fortunate enough. This client, I showed him the Techo Bloc products, and he loved them. I thought they were great. I thought it was a good idea to use it as a seat bench. I thought the same. Great idea. Love the wood grain texture in those Techo Bloc Borealis pieces. Bird's eye view drone going way high right there in this video snippet. As you can see, we got the plants laid out all in line in a row, lining the back PL wall and lining the upper retaining wall, serving that little section in between the two retaining walls. Those are the Techo Bloc Borealis wall block material. Now, so those pieces, they're 6 inches tall, 8 inches wide, and 4 feet long, 48 inches long. And it's solid concrete material. Those are the seat bench pieces we had to cut, because those Borealis slab pieces, incredible wood grain texture. Love the way those things look. Those are actually 30 inches long, and we had to cut them down to 18 inches long. So unfortunately, we had a lot of waste, but that 18 inches is a standard sort of seat bench run size. Video showing the miter cuts we had to do in the corners. Incredible detail on the miter cuts by our expert mason, Mr. Jeff. I have to give credit where credit's due. He is awesome when it comes to all materials in construction. Just does a great job at the detail on cutting material, and he's very conservative on his waste also. Some more pictures of the miter cuts that we had to do in these corners. Incredible detail done by Jeff. Here we are running the Techo Bloc Borealis through the tile saw very slowly, doing our best not to chip any of the pieces. I believe after a first couple cuts, because some pieces were getting chipped, we ran a piece of blue tape, little trick in a tile trade to kind of protect the top of the material that you're cutting, protect it from chipping when you're running the material through the tile saws. Nice square miter cut. He was able to maintain the gap distance. So those in particular Borealis slabs, most pavers have a what's called a spacer on the side of it, and those Techo Bloc Borealis pieces are manufactured with a sort of a slant on the side wall, side profile of the paver itself, and that is what creates the gap space. When you put the two pieces together, it creates that 1/4-inch joint that would get filled with a grout or a polymeric sand. There you can see we did run the tape, some blue masking tape, to help protect from the chips that take place when cutting concrete or porcelain materials, whether it's dry or wet. Still end up with some chipping around the cut area. So there we are, taking our time, pushing the saw blade through. There's the cut piece fit in on the fire pit. Another cut piece taking place. Techo Bloc Borealis wall. Very slowly pushing the concrete saw blade through the line of the cut. As you can see, those are solid concrete units. Very unique concrete product. This video showing the detail of the under seat bench lights, LED lights that we placed in there right underneath the seat bench cap. Some more pictures of the fire pit coming together with the seat bench completed in the background. Got the whole vent opened up at the bottom of that fire pit for airflow. That's always a topic of discussion. A lot of companies that you buy these vent products or these fireplace products from recommend putting air vents. We've done air vents, we've not done air vents, and never ever have had problems with gas because there's airflow no matter what. Now that's the fire table. That's the upgraded Venturi nozzle plate that we ordered. We set angle iron inside that fire pit as the ledger piece to rest that plate on top of, and then we plumbed in the plate on the bottom with the gas plumbing, and that was an upgraded item that the owner chose on the duration of the job. It did make for his, there's the propane bottle sticking outside the propane enclosure, but yeah, that fire plate did make for a very nice finish on that fire pit. It does in fact make the flames go higher on the fire pit when it's running. Now, one thing I will say is that there was one regret this owner did have by not running a gas line from his gas meter to that fire pit location. It was a really long distance. I think it was a $5,000 or $6,000 bill to dig that trench at 36 inches deep, padded with sand, running polyethylene gas line, permit, the whole 9 yards. But that money transferred into having to build that propane enclosure by saving a few thousand. But his regret was because the first night he had entertainment over for friends and family, he ran through the propane bottles pretty quickly. So, quick little story on that to put some thought into stuff like that. You'd have to have extra propane bottles on hand, quite a few, staged, in case you run out of fuel when you're entertaining your guests. But this is a really large, really nice fire pit entertainment area with that seat bench surrounding it and the L bench that we built on the other side of it to kind of create a bit of an enclosure, but to not create any visual barriers. Very functional design on this. I think ultimately ended up setting up like a table and chairs on that other area where that bench goes across toward the turf over there. As you can see how high those flames are on that fire pit, everybody was happy with the way this fire pit turned out all the way around. Homeowner, us. Came out really nice. Some ports being installed for the concrete caps that we put on as a tee-off for to run dual propane tanks at the very least, because you run through that fuel pretty quick on those propane tanks with a fire pit of that size. I want to say that fire pit table unit had a rating of probably 500,000 BTU, if I'm not mistaken. It had a higher BTU rating than a regular fire ring that might be in the area of like 200 to 300,000 BTUs. Because of the induction of the oxygen in those nozzles, it uses a lot more fuel. Here's some finished pictures of the overall project. Nice large grass area. Love the contrasting bold colors of those pots that we placed in there. Kind of give it a little bit of a southwestern effect. A southwestern design feel. Mexican fence post cactus. Some red yucca plants. Some winter gem boxwoods. Lining the wall over there. The palm tree is a Mediterranean fan palm as the standalone focal tree of this backyard. Bird's eye view dropping in with the drone. We also built that retaining wall up against his existing property line wall. He was lower elevation compared to his neighbor. So we're below soil grade, so not much to worry about over there with water leaking through the wall from his side to the neighbor's side because he's at a lower elevation. It's one thing we do take very serious. If we're above neighbor soil grade on the other side of the wall, I like to build an insulator wall up against the inside of our retaining walls or planters that we build up against walls so that you don't have a water leak problem into your neighbor's yard. Again, construction has to be done proper, done right from the get-go. Otherwise, you're just wasting money if you hire a cheap contractor or an inexperienced contractor or an unlicensed contractor that builds a product for you that just causes problems for you down the road. It's very important that you hire a licensed contractor, number one, and a experienced contractor with the level of scope that you're looking to do on your overall project. Some finished video we shot on the phone. Again, those are the 30-inch Borealis slab pieces. I think ultimately they changed that grout color. That white color grout stood out a little too much, so I think the owner just ended up painting it a different color, something a little more subtle to blend in with those Techo Bloc seat bench pieces. Beautiful detail on the wood grain texture of those seat bench pieces. Beautiful picture right there of the miter cuts we did on the corner sections. Beautiful overall picture. Yeah, so thanks for watching. And if you're looking to get your project started, feel free to give us a call, 702-949-2988, or you can visit us on the web on our website at greengurulandscaping.com. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.